He could have asked for anything: power to destroy his enemies, riches beyond measure, long life. But when the Creator asked young Solomon what he desired most, he whispered something no king had ever dared: "Give me an understanding heart." And with that one request, he unlocked the greatest treasure a man can hold: not gold, not status, but wisdom. The kind of wisdom that builds empires, solves impossible problems, and leaves rulers from around the world speechless. And here's the truth no one tells you: that same divine wisdom is still available to you. Yes, you, sitting in your room, facing decisions that feel bigger than your mind can hold. Maybe you're chasing money, peace, purpose, or all three at once. But what if you've been aiming at the wrong target? Solomon's story whispers a real secret. Wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, not as a quote on your wall, but as a fire in your bones. Because wisdom gives you the blueprint when you're lost. It shows you who to trust, when to walk away, what to build, and how to rise without noise. This is an ancient folklore. It's the hidden GPS of every modern-day success story. The question is, will you ignore it, or will you lean in and unlock it? Keep watching, because what's coming next could change your life. The world never forgets what a man asks for when given everything. That moment defines who he is and who he'll become. Solomon had just stepped into the throne, young, uncertain, surrounded by enemies, burdened with responsibility far beyond his age. And then came the moment, one that would test his soul. Ask for whatever you want. Most would have said riches, power, victory over rivals, fame that echoes across kingdoms. But Solomon, with trembling lips and clarity rare in youth, asked for something far greater. Give your servant an understanding heart, to judge your people and discern between good and evil. In that moment, he revealed the code few ever discover. Wisdom is a key that unlocks everything else. The moment he chose to summon over diamonds, heaven responded with both. Riches followed him. Power bowed to him. Influence chased him down. Why? Because he asked for what mattered most. That's the first secret of the Solomon Code. The quality of your life is shaped by what you pursue. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, knowing what you want with such burning intensity that all else becomes background noise. But here's the problem. Most people today are chasing shadows. Money without meaning. Success without understanding. Applause without authenticity. They chase the fruit without ever planting the root, and they wonder why their lives feel hollow. Solomon chose differently. He didn't just want the throne. He wanted the wisdom to rule it. He didn't just want the crown. He wanted the character to wear it well. That's the wisdom this generation desperately needs. Because in truth, money isn't hard to get. Popularity isn't hard to fake. But wisdom, that's what builds empires that last. What if, instead of begging the universe for more followers, more sales, or more attention, you got still and asked for discernment, the ability to see through the fog of emotion and trend, the strength to choose what's right over what's easy, the power to hear truth when everyone else is selling lies? Wisdom is what makes a man walk away from deals that would have killed his destiny. Wisdom is what helps you say no to shortcuts. Wisdom is what gives you the courage to pause, observe, listen, and lead. Without it, you can have everything and still lose it all. So here's the challenge. Define your deepest desire. Not the thing that sounds good on paper, but the truth that keeps you up at night. Is it freedom, peace, legacy, clarity? Then ask for the power to steward it wisely. Because when you ask for what matters most, life begins to arrange itself around your request. Solomon didn't become great because he was born into royalty. He became great because he had the guts to ask for the one thing that truly matters: wisdom. And here's what most people miss. He didn't just ask once. He pursued it, studied it, honored it, protected it. Wisdom was not a moment. It was a mission. And that mission is still open to you. You don't need a crown. You don't need a throne. You just need a moment of clarity, a decision to ask for more than just stuff. Ask for sense. Ask for strategy. Ask for the sacred gift of seeing the world through the lens of truth. Because once you have that, the rest will follow. We live in a world where people are told to hustle harder, grind longer, and chase every opportunity like it's their last. But Solomon flipped that script. He didn't run after gold. He didn't beg for treasure. He asked for wisdom, and wealth followed him like a shadow that couldn't detach from his presence. This is no fairy tale. It's a spiritual law, a timeless principle, one that Napoleon Hill echoed thousands of years later when he wrote, "Riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work." Solomon had that mindset long before it was ever printed on a page. He knew something most of us forget. Wealth is not a race. It's a result. And the fuel behind that result isn't in your bank. It's in your beliefs. Solomon never begged to be rich, yet his kingdom overflowed with gold, spices, and rare treasures from distant lands. Why? Because people sensed something in him. A clarity, a certainty, a depth. One story says it all. The Queen of Sheba traveled over 1,000 miles not to fight Solomon, but to learn from him. Imagine that. A queen, wealthy in her own right, crossed deserts not to offer trade or negotiate power, but to sit in the presence of someone who had mastered the inner game. She brought camels loaded with gifts, but the greatest thing she took back wasn't what she brought. It was what she saw, the mindset, the structure, the wisdom flowing from every room of Solomon's palace. And when she witnessed how he thought, not just how he ruled, she said, "The half was not told me." That's what wisdom does. It doesn't beg to be seen. It commands attention. It magnetizes opportunity. Because true wealth isn't found in the hustle. It's hidden in how you see. Most people are trying to upgrade their wardrobe, their profile, their resume. Solomon upgraded his mind. And because his thoughts were drenched in wisdom, wealth had no choice but to find him. If you think success is only about blood, sweat, and tears, you'll exhaust yourself chasing what a wise man attracts effortlessly. Wisdom doesn't mean you don't work. It means your work multiplies, because every action is precise. Every decision is strategic. Every investment is guided. This is where most people go wrong. They think wealth is earned by doing more. But Solomon teaches us that wealth is attracted by being more, not externally, but internally. You want wealth? Start acting like someone worthy of it. That means no more sloppy decisions. No more doubting yourself. No more living like your destiny is on clearance. Begin to walk, speak, and think like royalty, not in arrogance, but in alignment. Wealth is a mirror. It reflects your inner structure. If you're scattered, it runs. If you're grounded, it returns. If you chase it with desperation, it hides. But if you build yourself into someone wise, it bows. So how do you begin? Start where Solomon did, with a decision, not a wish. A decision. Decide that you will not be another person chasing pennies while neglecting purpose. Decide to operate from clarity, not chaos. Speak with confidence, not comparison. Move with intention, not impulse. Solomon built his fortune not by grabbing more, but by becoming more. And you can do the same. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't respond to the noise of need. It responds to the stillness of wisdom. When you become someone worth following, even money will want your company. One of the most unforgettable moments in King Solomon's reign was not about riches, conquest, or glory. It was about a crying baby. 2 women came to his court, both claiming to be the child's mother. There were no witnesses, no DNA tests, no proof, just pain, urgency, and accusation. To anyone else, it was an impossible case. But Solomon didn't flinch. He didn't ask for more time or pass the burden to someone else. He made a decision that stunned the world. "Bring me a sword," he said. "Divide the child in 2. It was a horrifying proposal on the surface, but behind it was something greater, a test designed to reveal the truth. And it worked. The real mother, driven by love, begged him to spare the child's life. That's all Solomon needed. In a single moment, he exposed a lie, protected the innocent, and revealed that wisdom isn't just about knowledge. It's about decisive clarity under pressure. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly." Why? Because great leaders understand that indecision is a form of fear. The longer you hesitate, the more confusion grows. Solomon didn't need days to weigh his options. He didn't stall for counsel. He trusted the inner voice that only wisdom sharpens. And that's the principle we forget in our modern world. We think we need more information, more opinions, more time. But you don't need more time. You need more clarity. The longer you linger in doubt, the further your destiny drifts. The truth is, your life is shaped by the decisions you avoid. And the more decisions you postpone, the weaker your confidence becomes. Solomon teaches us that wisdom cuts through illusion. Most of life is noise, distractions, half-truths, surface-level conflict. But wisdom sees past all of that. It finds a signal. It separates emotion from essence. In that courtroom, Solomon didn't see two women, he saw motives. He didn't need proof. He needed a reaction. That's the secret of decision-making power. Being able to read what others miss. And that starts with training yourself to decide. In small things. In big things. Especially in hard things. Because every decision is a vote for the future you want or the comfort zone you fear. So here's the exercise, and don't skip this. Write down 3 major decisions you've been avoiding. Maybe it's about a relationship you know is toxic. Maybe it's a career path that no longer feeds your soul. Maybe it's about letting go of what you built so you can build what you were meant to. Be honest. Write them down. Then sit with them. Feel the weight. Then make a choice. Don't wait until it's easy. Don't wait for perfect signs. Decide from the core of your wisdom, not the chaos of your fear. Because indecision is not harmless. It drains your energy. It clouds your vision. It keeps you locked in cycles that rob your peace. Solomon didn't become legendary because he had the right answers. He became legendary because he made bold decisions guided by truth. That's what separates leaders from wanderers. The ability to slice through the fog and say, this is the way. And the more you train yourself to do that, the stronger your intuition becomes. Not reckless guessing, but refined, purposeful, spirit-led decision-making. You don't need every detail. You need trust in your ability to choose well. That's what builds empires. That's what shifts legacies. So stop hesitating. Choose wisely. Act decisively. Because your future isn't waiting for perfection. It's waiting for you to decide. Solomon had wisdom beyond measure. He had insight that pulled leaders from every corner of the world just to hear him speak. He had riches that made gold seem common, and a mind so sharp it could decode any riddle. But even with all of that, he fell, not because he lacked brilliance, but because he let discipline slip through his fingers. For all his divine understanding, Solomon allowed his desires to grow unchecked. He took on hundreds of wives, aligned with foreign nations that served other gods, and slowly let his heart drift from the very source that gave him power in the first place. That is a tragedy of many gifted people. Not that they lack wisdom, but that they lack the discipline to honor it. Napoleon Hill taught that self-discipline is a cornerstone of greatness. It's the gatekeeper that decides whether your gifts will lift you or crush you. Wisdom is a treasure, yes, but if you don't guard it, it becomes a burden. Think about the modern leaders, entrepreneurs, or celebrities who rose fast, shone bright, and then collapsed under the weight of their own undisciplined choices. It wasn't that they weren't smart. It wasn't that they didn't know better. It was that they didn't do better. Intelligence without restraint is a slow form of self-destruction. It convinces you that because you can, you should, that because you know the answer, you don't need the structure. But the opposite is true. The more you know, the more disciplined you must become. Because wisdom is like a sharp blade. It can cut for good or cut you down, depending on how you wield it. Solomon's story is not just a celebration of greatness. It's a warning. You can have divine favor, unimaginable wealth, and global influence. But without self-control, you can lose yourself in the very thing you built. That's why discipline is not punishment. It's protection. It protects your time from being wasted. It protects your thoughts from being poisoned. It protects your desires from becoming addictions. It protects your throne. So what does that look like in your life? It means creating sacred boundaries. Guard your mornings like royalty. What you let in sets the tone. Guard your energy. Don't give your peace to people who haven't earned your presence. Guard your desires. Check what you crave and why. Ask yourself often, is this feeding my future or weakening it? Solomon had the throne. But over time, his lack of discipline eroded what wisdom had built. You don't have to repeat that mistake. Be the kind of person who not only asks for wisdom, but fights to live by it daily. Because wisdom without discipline dies. But wisdom with discipline, that becomes unstoppable power. The kind that lasts. The kind that transforms. The kind that makes sure your throne doesn't become your tomb. Solomon's greatest achievement wasn't his wealth or his wisdom. It was what he built with them. The Temple of Jerusalem wasn't just a structure made of stone and gold. It was a symbol of vision, of sacred commitment, of building something that would outlive the builder. He didn't rush into it. He planned. He organized. He brought together craftsmen, architects, artisans, and materials from different nations. Every detail was intentional. Every layer represented more than beauty. It represented alignment. And that's where most people fall short today. They have ideas, dreams, flashes of inspiration, but no temple, nothing structured, nothing built to last. Napoleon Hill called it organized planning, taking what's in your mind and forming a strategy around it. It's not enough to dream. You must design. You don't need bricks or marble to do it. You need inner structure, vision with legs, purpose with plans. You need to ask yourself, what am I building that's bigger than me? Is it a business, a family legacy, a movement, a life that speaks long after I'm gone? Because if you're not building something, then you're drifting. And drifting never leads to destiny. Solomon built a place where others could meet God, a temple where generations would come to find peace and meaning. What are you building that others can step into and grow from? You start by creating a blueprint. Take your dream and give it walls, specific areas you'll focus on. Give it pillars, values that hold it up, and give it steps, actions you'll take daily, weekly, monthly to raise it brick by brick. A temple isn't built in a weekend. It's carved through patience, labor, and consistency. And here's the truth most clever people ignore. Only the wise finish what they start. Clever people chase every new trend. Wise people stay with the plan. Clever people impress crowds. Wise people impress time. That's the difference. When Solomon finished the temple, he didn't boast, he dedicated. He acknowledged that it wasn't about him. It was about legacy, alignment, a place for purpose to live beyond a single man's lifetime. That's the kind of structure you're called to create. One that outlasts you. One that isn't shaken by storms. One that stands, not because you were lucky, but because you were intentional. So start today. Don't just think. Build. Sketch it. Plan it. Protect it. Your temple might be a business that serves the broken, a story that heals, a brand that inspires, a family rooted in honor. Whatever it is, make it real. Lay the first brick, then the next, and the next, because what you build in silence may become the very thing generations will one day whisper about in awe. Solomon wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He let his desires pull him off course. But history doesn't remember him for his flaws. It remembers him for a decision. One decision that changed everything. When offered the world, he asked for wisdom. That single moment redefined what greatness looks like. Not loud, not flashy, but rooted in insight, guided by depth, and driven by a desire to do right. Not just for himself, but for those he was called to lead. That's the power of a single choice. Not to chase more, but to become more. And now, the same question that echoed in Solomon's chamber stand before you. What will you ask for? Will you keep asking for things that fade? Will you keep chasing success like a dog chasing cars? Or will you pause and ask for what matters most? Ask for clarity. Ask for courage. Ask for wisdom. Because wisdom doesn't just give you answers. It gives you access. Access to peace, to purpose, to progress. When you choose wisdom, you unlock a life of direction, dignity, and deep fulfillment. Let's remember the path Solomon walked. First, he asked for the right thing. Not riches, not revenge, but discernment. That was his foundation. Then, he became the proof that wealth is attracted, not chased. The world brought him treasure because his spirit already carried value. Third, he showed us how decision creates destiny. When faced with complexity, he moved with clarity, no hesitation. No confusion, just wisdom at work. Fourth, he warned us through his own downfall that wisdom without discipline is fragile. Without boundaries, even brilliance can break. And finally, he gave us the blueprint for legacy by building something that would outlast him. A temple not of ego, but of eternal purpose. These aren't just ancient principles. They're tools, living codes, and they still work. Right now, the throne is not far. It's not in a palace. It's in your mirror. Every time you choose wisdom over impulse, you rise. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you rise. Every time you align your vision with discipline, you rise. And as Proverbs 3 verse 35 says, the wise inherit honor. That means this isn't just about success. It's about becoming someone worthy of honor. Someone who leads, builds, protects, and uplifts. So take a breath, look in the mirror, and make a decision. Not just to hear this, but to live it. Choose wisdom when it's quiet, when it's inconvenient, when it costs you, because that's where real power lives. If this stirred your soul, comment, I choose wisdom, and subscribe for more timeless success codes. Because the future doesn't belong to the clever. It belongs to the wise. And your throne is waiting.